Children grow and women produce and men go work and some go stealing. Everyone's got to make a living. Anyways, I just wanted to come on here and do a quick video today. Only about 10 minutes, so I'm going to be brief with some of these topics. But I wanted to talk about DVD versus Blu-ray versus 4K. Because a lot of collectors who are newer to the whole collecting genre and collecting community ask very specific questions of collectors, and it is DVD versus Blu-ray versus 4K, or even VHS. Where do you start your collection? And so I'm going to analyze that a bit today. So obviously everyone knows me as the 4K guy. I have a lot of 4Ks. I have a big background full of 4Ks. I have some DVDs at the top. Got a bit of everything. But if I had to start it all over again, let's say all the collection was gone, where would I recommend a new collector to start from? And I'm going to say DVD. And DVD has a reason, because it's cheaper. Now, some of you may disagree with that. You might say, oh, Blu-ray is almost indistinguishable in terms of cost to DVD. It's a few dollars more, but you're better off putting the extra money towards Blu-ray. I'm going to disagree with that. And I'm going to say, yes, if it's cheaper and it's one of your favorites, then yes, buy the Blu-ray. But if you're someone who is just like, you know what, I just want to get in as cheap as possible. And if you're just like a younger person and just wanting to experience what it's all about, then I would say the collector culture of DVD is still very much achievable compared to the cost with something like Blu-ray or 4K. The cost is going to be more expensive if you go to the 4K option. I mean, you're looking at sometimes $30, $40 a release. Whereas a DVD, if you play your cards right and buy it at like a op shop or something, you can get it for like $1 or $2 a piece. So you start seeing the methodology of how I can pick up as a big truck goes past a window. You start seeing the methodology and the methods behind in your mind. Hey, I can get in pretty cheap. I can build a collection of my favorites, 100 favorite movies or even 50 favorite movies for approximately $100. And that's not a bad thing. Like if you just wanted 50 movies to watch that you wanted to put in a drawer for a rainy day, or even like some people rip them, I don't know. But, let's say that was what you were after. Then DVD is a lot more achievable. Blu-ray, yes, you can obviously buy Blu-ray drives and do the same stuff, but DVD is so readily accessible and so available that it just makes sense to go with DVD. And for me, I would look at a new collector as like, what are you intending to do with the collection? Are you intending to stream mainly or primarily? In that case, no brainer, go DVD. If you're primarily looking at it to look great on a 4K TV and you want the best of the best of the best, then 4K. If you want something that splits the diff, that's like, it's not as low res as a DVD, and if you want something that upscales relatively good, Blu-ray is the good center point to that. But what I would say is DVD versus Blu-ray versus 4K is a heated topic. Everyone has their preference, and there is no incorrect answer and there is no right answer. It all comes down to preference at the end of the day. What I would recommend to a new collector is that if you're coming into the collecting community, you need to think of your collection as an extension of yourself. Look at it as something like, I've got DVDs over here from wrestling. I'm probably going to fold these ones down or sell them. But I've got Bound for Glory 2005, a TNA pay-per-view from back in the day. Was this Elevation X, or was it? No. Was this Joe Daniels and AJ? No, it was X Division, AJ Styles versus Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. But it's a reflection of yourself. It's a reflection of what you love. And especially if you collect just about everything for cheap enough, it's not going to always be a reflection of yourself. But then that's where you can kind of get in cheap with DVD. You can go and say like, oh, I have room to experiment here. Whereas when you're putting $40, $50 or something per release, it becomes a lot more hard to justify. Oh, well, I want it, but it's a bit pricey. So if money's no thing, choose the 4K. But also you're getting restorations with 4K now that just aren't up to scratch. So just be aware that there's a thing called digital noise reduction. It was present back in the DVD and Blu-ray days. It's got more prominent now. But Also, AI is starting to be introduced into stuff like the Jaws restorations. I know there was an AI upscale or AI restoration for like Jaws 3 or 4 or something. So just be aware that like newer transfers, as they call them, transfer is when they take a release of a movie and rescan it, remaster it, and re-release it. So it's called a transfer. It's a new transfer of that onto 4K. Sometimes the DVD can be better. And you get stuff with DVD like collector's editions and like DTS, the original sound on Jurassic Park, you know, that's got the DTS sound that is also present on the Laserdisc. People rave about the Laserdisc audio. This is a close second in terms of what it has. I believe this one may have some issues as well, but it sounds phenomenal. I've never recognized any issues with that. But as I said, there is a subjective thing here about what you love and what you don't love, and what you want to be reflected in your collection. I've got a collection over here of South Park. I do have the Blu-rays. I do have the South Park Blu-rays over here. And let's just turn this around. I do have all the South Park Blu-rays right here. I got them all. I've got them all remastered. You know what I'm watching more of when I'm watching South Park? And this thing's going to fall because the tripod's so unstable. So unstable, this tripod. Such a inconsiderate tripod, isn't it? So inconsiderate. Anyways, so you have over here the South Park collection. I draw from the original South Park collection in 4x3 because it's more along the lines of nostalgia. And that's another thing about DVD. A lot of people looking to recollect this stuff want to experience the nostalgia and may want to experience it as it was intended. Then DVD is easily a no-brainer. And even if you wanted it further back and wanted it for nostalgia-wise, even VHS can answer that question. Like, a lot of people go and talk about Disney these days, the modern Disney. People remember the Disney Vault, and some people will say, oh, well, I want to collect the VHSs because there are limited amounts and limited runs of things that you could collect. There was movies that were called vaulted. And so a lot of people collect the Disney movies. They collect, you know, A Nightmare on Elm Street on VHS. They collect horror movies on VHS like Halloween. So there's a lot of things. There are people who stand by VHS copies of, what's it called? The Wizard of Oz. Because it has a scene with like a munchkin in there or something in back of one shot. I'm not going to talk about it, but you know what I'm talking about here? This is the whole thing about what format to choose. If you want it to as close as release as possible, then if it's a movie that was released 20, 30 years ago, no brainer to choose DVD because it's closer to the release and it's accessible. VHS players need maintenance. They can sometimes break down over time. They can chew tapes. If you want something that just works on everything, DVD is the most accessible format you can get. Blu-ray is the second most accessible format. Third most is probably 4K. So I would say DVD is, if you want to get in very cheap, the way to go. But also, I'm not knocking Blu-ray or 4K. Blu-ray is good for the people who want to collect something that relatively upscales very well, that will look great on a 4K TV. That has a few alterations here and there, because obviously they were remastering these things and doing new transfers in the 2010s. But even then, or even the noughties, they were doing this stuff, the 2000s. So there are different transfers. There are people who stand by the Lionsgate 2015-2016 release of the Terminator 2. And the 4K just doesn't look as good as that release, people say. I have the DVD version, so I haven't needed to get the Lionsgate version. I have the 4K, so I have kind of a best of both worlds. The best of both worlds, or however that song goes. I think, is it Hannah Montana? I feel like that's Hannah Montana. Or I'm positive it's Hannah Montana. Anyways, what do you guys think about it, this debate? I want you to debate it in the comments. I want to see these comments like lighting up. Get into it. Just no knocking each other. Keep it civilized. Don't just say, oh, everyone who collects this is an idiot, and I hate everyone who collects this. Don't do that. I might have to block you if you do that. But debate in those comments. Tell me what you think. Also, like, subscribe, drop a comment, obviously. Hype the channel. Follow me on Instagram, Jamie Toomey Presents. Follow me on a Twitch channel that I don't know what I'm going to do with, Jamie Toomey Presents. And also watch one of these end screens. I'll just stand in the center of them, and you can choose either or. And hopefully you like one of them, maybe both of them. Watch them both. I like seeing my older content doing well as well. get it up there, get the numbers up, and get new subscribers. Tell a friend. Share it with a friend. Peace.